Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to Profiteers versus the People. So after the rather heavy content from our last series on the Kochs, for this one, we thought that we'd tell the easiest type of story that Hollywood has ever made. The heist tale. Put on your tuxedos for some reason and grab your inane gadgets, and let's get heisting.
He's an Eagle Scout and a gentleman. He got a degree in physics from the University of Texas in Dallas, and while getting his master's in material science from Penn State, he began aligning outwardly with his libertarian values. He's a native of Austin, Texas, and according to his mom, he's a really great guy. After trying his hand as a video game developer and stock trader, he became a seller of used books, but this was not to be. In 2011, the year season 3 of Breaking Bad was released, Ross Ulbricht, a 27-year-old disguised as a bearded 9th grade hacky sack player that never gets invited to smoke in the woods, decided it was time to become a drug kingpin. Unsurprisingly, what would later become the Silk Road, a global online black market that Ross headed, had started with the complementary purpose of being a libertarian thought experiment. Being a drug kingpin required that Ross become acquainted with leading a double life. This was challenging for Ross, but eventually he grew accustomed to it. 2 years after kicking off this lifestyle, he and his alter ego, Dread Pirate Roberts, would each be handed a life sentence. Last year, Ross celebrated his 10th year behind bars. Unfortunately for him, he will be serving both life sentences all on his own. All parties involved in the story we're going to tell are currently imprisoned, but that shouldn't detract from it a great deal. Operating under the belief that the thief in this story is a typical Bitcoin millionaire means that we must assume he would successfully con Ulbricht and then promptly lose his password for about a decade, later unlocking his account and enjoying the hundreds of millions he had successfully harvested. Were this the case, this would be the story of one of the most lucrative heists in U.S. history. As such, let's assume this story would have gone down just like this. Our thief is looking on silently, waiting for his opportunity to strike, and when he collects his fortune, he won't sell until he has hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin. Now, to tell our story, we're going to be reading the chat logs that proved to be Ross's undoing in court. These are a series of back-and-forth messages between Ross, who is the Dread Pirate Roberts, and several other usernames on the Silk Road. Money Mike will be reading as Dread Pirate Roberts, and I will be reading as everyone else.
It's March 13th, 2013, and Ross, the Dread Pirate Roberts, gets a message through the Silk Road from Friendly Chemist.
Can you please get Dread Pirate Roberts to message me right away? It's very serious, a matter of life and death. Also has to do with the identities of a dozen top vendors and thousands of Silk Road customers. It's very important, so please get him me right away. I will not talk to anyone but Dread Pirate Roberts, so please do not ask me what it is concerning.
What can I do for you?
What is going on? When are you paying Loosey Drop? I have been waiting, and he keeps saying he's waiting for you to pay. You don't know me, but I'm Loosey Drop's supplier. The only reason I lent Loosey Drop so much product is because he showed me the chat logs of you and him talking about how you made him the #1 seller on Silk Road. I lent him $900,000 of product, and he paid me $200,000 and then started avoiding me. I see you and him still have listings up when I know for a fact he does not have any product. Why are you guys scamming people for their hard-earned money? I stopped by Loosey Drop's house, and he doesn't live there anymore, and his phone goes straight to voicemail, but I know he has been on Silk Road, and he says, wait for you. What is the deal? Where's my money? Why is Loosey Drop still selling when I know for a fact he has no product because I supplied him? I'm freaking out here. That was not my money. I'm getting scared. My wife said she saw people at my kid's school, and I'm getting really worried. I put a keylogger on Loosey Drop's computer when he left the room one day when I was there so I could see what he was doing, and I see he has been selling still when I know he doesn't have product. Are you guys pulling a scam? Why? I also have the identities of 9 top vendors and 15 smaller vendors and thousands of customers of Loosey Drops. I don't want any trouble, but I want my money. If you haven't paid Loosey Drop, pay him. If you have pay him, then tell him to pay me. I'm scared for my family. If you don't believe me, here is Lucy's password info. And then there's some password information. I will not do anything till you message me and tell me what's going on. Please get him to pay me ASAP or pay him ASAP if you haven't. This is my life here, and I'm scared for my family because of the money I owe.
I'm really sorry for your situation. I've never had such a conversation with Lucy Drop. He or she must have made it up to trick you. We have no special deal whatsoever.
I find it very hard to believe. He showed me the chat logs talking to you about you making him number one seller and being his partner on the product I gave him. I would not have give him that much product otherwise, especially because you made him the one seller. Please don't screw me like this. My life is in danger because of this money I owe. I also know about the other vendor accounts his friends are using. I have access to those customer lists too from when Lucy Drop was drop shipping for them. I'm not the kind of person, but the only card I have left to play is dropping 24 vendor identities and thousands of customer details on the web and the forums. What do you and Lucy Drop think will happen if thousands of usernames, order amounts, addresses get leaked? All those people will leave Silk Road and be scared to use it again. Those vendors will all be busted, and all their customers will be exposed to and never go back to Silk Road. I don't want to do that. I just want my money for my product. My life is in danger, and maybe my family. The people I borrowed that from are not regular people. I can't believe I was so stupid and trusting. Just get Lucy Drop to pay me my money ASAP, or if you haven't paid him yet, then pay so he pays me the money he owes. Please, I'm freaking out here.
I'll get in touch with Lucy Drop and get back to you. Send me all the information you've harvested so I can verify it. And here's Dread Pirate Roberts to Lucy Drop after this conversation on March 15th, 2013. Hi, Lucy Drop. I've been contacted by a member named Friendly Chemist. He claims to know you and have done business with you in real life. He's making wild accusations and threats against you, me, and other members of the community. If indeed you know him, could you please provide me with his name and address? I'd like to stop him in his tracks by revealing that I know who he is and will retaliate if he does anything stupid. Any other info that you can provide is also welcome. Thanks and sorry for the trouble. DPR. P.S. Please don't contact him if possible. I'd like to handle this myself. And then that same day, Friendly Chemist messages Dread Pirate Roberts again before Lucy Drop can respond.
I didn't have to harvest anything. Lucy Drop kept a log of every single transaction he made on Silk Road like an idiot. There are thousands and thousands of orders. There are over 20 vendor identities from when he did biz with them, some with phone numbers too, and over 5,000 customer identities. He also ran more than one account on here, and it seems to be still vending on those accounts too, and did everything from one computer, so I have all their info too. You already know that I have access to his account, and you can see most of his orders are not encrypted, so I don't know why you are asking for me to send all the info to you now, unless you want to warn all those people so you and Lucy don't have to pay me. His username, Friendly Chemist then provides the user password info. You say you are not working with him, but you still haven't closed his account when you know he is scamming, but I will give you an address to some customers, and you can see he kept logs the whole time. Here are some of his very first sales, when he was sending 3-tab samples when he first started vending. You can contact them and see if it is true. And here's a long list of addresses that was redacted. And the log goes like that up till today, every day, and that's just one of his accounts. He has 3 total of his own, and he is using them for different things. But I'm sure you know this, or else why would you let that account stay open? I don't want to do anything with this, and I won't. I just want my money. I'm scared for my life, and you and him are not giving me answer. Maybe if I post all the vendor identity publicly, and nobody sell on Silk Road, Lucy Drop will have no more sales to scam people on his other account. I just want what is owed to me, and I will go away. I don't know why you people scam like this. People work hard for their money, and you are playing with people's lives. I will wait for your reply from Lucy Drop, but I don't know how much longer I can wait. How can I explain to these people I don't have their money when I said I will have it a certain day, and now I'm late. These are not normal people, and they are getting angry with me. Just get Loosey Drop to resolve this or pay him so he can pay me. I did a favor, and this is not fair to play with my life like this.
I'll let you know when I hear from Lucy Drop.
When will that be? I don't think you guys understand how serious this is. Have you not paid Loosey Drop the $700,000 he's supposed to give me yet? These people I borrowed from have been asking for me to meet them and said they don't want to have to come and find me. I'm scared, and you don't seem to even care that you guys are scamming me and putting my life in danger. Do I need to release some of the list so you take it more serious? I just want what is owed to me. When will you guys make it right?
And then Ross leaves Friendly Chemist on red. And the next day, Ross hears back from real Lucy Drop.
I can't post in Rumor Mill because I don't have 50 posts. Please post this thread in Rumor Mill. I am the real Loosey Drop. Do not buy from Loosey Drop on Silk Road. I can't talk about specifics for security reasons, but I was in jail for more than 2 months, but less than 7. I got released very recently. Loosey Drop on Silk Road is not me. Do not buy from that account. My partner completely fucked me over. I went to our spot. There's nothing there, and he won't answer my phone calls. He took the work computer and everything else. He took my entire savings with him that was being used to keep supply up. He took my entire life. Somebody please get in contact with DPR or vendor support and have the account shut down immediately and freeze all the funds in the account. How can I contact DPR? I can't find a link to message him. I can prove to him that I am the real Loosey Drop, as I do not have access to my PGP or any of my logins. If you ordered from me in the past, namely a couple of top vendors, I can give you details and you can verify or vouch that I am indeed the real Loosey Drop. Do not trust anything that is said from that Loosey Drop account. Do not send any funds. Do not finalize anything. Somebody please get DPR to see this thread. Someone please post this in Rumor Mill. My entire life was taken from me, and I don't know what to do.
Hi there. How did the new person gain access to your account?
It's not a person who took over the account. It was my partner in real life that I started Loosey Drop with. I was the only one that actually handled the Loosey Drop account until I got arrested. I was picked up on previous drug offense warrants and spent some time in jail. My partner took absolutely everything from me in that time. He took all the work computers, the Bitcoin wallets, all the work product, nearly my entire life savings, and scammed a bunch of people in the process. Friendly Chemist was our middleman to one of our LSD distributors. I called him also after I got released, and he is demanding I pay him for some deal he had with my partner when I was in jail, and telling me he'll do something very stupid if he doesn't get paid. How do you know Friendly Chemist?
I'm so glad you know him. He has gathered the personal information of the customers who worked with Lucy Drop. Not sure if you were in control of the account at the time or not. And also some of the vendors on Silk Road. Now he is trying to blackmail me by saying he'll release all this info. If this happened, it would be terrible. I need his real world identity so I can threaten him with violence if he were to release any names. Name, address, anything you have. It sounds like he's in a tough spot that your former partner put him in, but I can't get involved, and I can't let him release those IDs. Thank you for any help you can provide.
I don't know how I feel about that solution. Remember that he also knows my real world identity and has evidence on me as well. I'm sure you were well aware of what would happen to me if my information was to be released. If he had access to that computer, there's a lot more damaging stuff on there than just the identities of a bunch of vendors and a bunch of customers of mine. There's enough on that computer to put me away for a very long time. He's acting erratic right now, understandably, given his situation, but I will set up a meeting with him and try and reason with him. It's also in my best interest that he doesn't release anything, as well as in the best interest of this movement we're a part of, putting power in the people's hands. I fucking hate what money does to people. I'm in contact with him. I told him that I'm talking to you, and I'm going to have a meeting with him and try and resolve this problem of ours.
Okay, Lucy. Do me proud. Smiley face.
Will do. Obviously, I won't ask you what time zone you're in, but can you give me certain hours that are best to reach you at? The delay in messages back and forth make it hard to communicate effectively. I'm in Pacific time zone. Can you tell me what time in PST are the best to reach you at? I don't mind having to wake up in the middle of the night to hop on the forum, so just tell me whatever works best for you. I'll be meeting him today in the morning.
I'll check in as much as possible. Let me know if you need anything. And that was all the chat for that night. The next day, Real Loosey Drop follows up with Dread Pirate Roberts by sending this message.
I went to the meeting with him, and he's extremely frightened. He told me who he owes money to, and I understand his concern for his safety because they are not people you want to owe money to. He's freaking out and truly believes that his life and his family's life is in serious danger. He thinks that you don't take him seriously and said he was planning on releasing part of the information to show he's serious. I convinced him not to and reassured him that things would be okay. If that information gets leaked and those vendors get busted, I would get busted too. I tried not to show him that I was too concerned with his threats, but I'm not sure how to deal with him. He said he's been doing his research, and he says he has discovered the flaw with Silk Road that the buyers have never thought about. I'm assuming he's referring to the fact that the vendors all have people's addresses and can use it against Silk Road or the buyers themselves to extort money or what have you. He also kept talking about the shitstorm that would be caused by that much information being leaked and media and police picking up on it and starting a mass panic. He said that if we don't pay him, he'll release the information, and if that does not work, he will go straight to the police with all the information and get into the witness protection program. The people he borrowed the product from are a big criminal organization in Canada. It's the Hells Angels, not sure if you're familiar. The police have been known to treat witnesses against them very well. This is saddening because this guy is not really like this, but I guess with the threat to his and his family's life, he is under extreme stress and acting out of character. I calmed him down a bit and told him I would find a way to help him. That was somewhat of a lie on my part because I don't really know how I can help him, but I wanted to reassure him so he didn't do anything drastic in the meantime until we find a solution. I asked him that you would never fully trust him to not use the information against him, even if he got paid, and he said the following. I'm recalling all this from memory, so excuse me if it's not completely accurate. He said, regardless of anything, he needs to pay the people ASAP or he is in grave danger. He offered me a deal because, as you know, selling on Silk Road was my income and he was my connection for LSD. He said he wants to be paid and that he would then give me product at his cost so that I could pay you back by selling and giving you the percentage of what he would normally put on top when he was selling it to me. He was putting 50% on top of his cost when he gave it to me, so he suggested that I start vending again and you take 50% of all sales. That way, you would be paid back in full. I would be able to sell again on Silk Road, and that the people he borrowed the product from would be paid back and he would be safe. I said that was a bad deal because you would still have all the vendors' information and customers' information. He said that he would be willing to give you his identity, talk to someone on the phone to verify, or give any other identifying information that could be confirmed as collateral so he would never be able to use that information again, and that you would feel confident that the information would never be exposed. I don't know what you think, but that is what he said to me. What should I say to him?
And then Dread Pirate Roberts didn't respond until the next day when the Real Loosey Drop IM'd him again.
Can you tell me what to tell him, please? I've been stalling him and told him I would get back to him ASAP. Can you just tell me what to tell him so I can make arrangements to protect myself in this whole situation also? If he goes through with his threat, I'll need to protect myself.
You know his real-world identity, don't you? There's no way I'll be handing cash over to a person who is threatening me and my community. Give me his ID so I can have some leverage in dealing with him. You said you don't know what to do now, so let me take over. Give me all the info you have so I have the best chance at defusing this situation.
Yes, I do know his identity, but you threatening him back will not help this situation. He is deathly afraid of the people he owes money to, and they already know where he lives and where his kids go to school, etc. That will just expedite him going to the police, thus the information being given to them, including my identity, because the police will want all the information he has if they will protect him and put him in witness protection. Obviously, you don't want to be blackmailed and let some fuck take money, but this situation is extremely sensitive, and I'm getting increasingly worried about my own safety regarding the police or my information being leaked too. If I can get some money together, would you be willing to help me pay him, and then taking 50% off each of my sales to repay you what you've lent? I was the number one vendor with the 3 best-selling items on Silk Road, so it would not take long. That way, I also get to keep my connection for LSD and be able to keep vending. I can probably get $300,000 together, or maybe more if I try and borrow some money from friends. I just don't see how you threatening him is going to help the situation at all. It will probably just make him go to the police even faster, releasing the information faster since he will know he will not be able to pay them off and will have no choice but to go to the police after releasing the information since he'll be in serious trouble. Please try and check your messages more often because whenever I don't have anything to tell him, he starts acting more erratic since people he owes money are on him hard about getting paid.
Don't bother messaging me again if the message does not contain his personal information. I'm not fronting money to anyone, and I won't be blackmailed. I would also like the contact info/ID of the other Loosey drop that ripped him off, and of his suppliers if possible. You don't know how to handle this situation, but I do. So stop showing this guy compassion. He is threatening your life/freedom and my livelihood.
If you really think you have a good idea to deal with him, I'll give you the information you want about his identity. Please understand why I'm hesitant, as it is my freedom we're dealing with. We'll also have no income since he was my connection for LSD. Are there any positions open on Silk Road, support or otherwise? I could really use some sort of job, as my partner completely fucked me over. Let me know how to send the information over to you. Plain text, or can you give me a PGP key to use?
Next, Dread Pirate Roberts reaches back out to Friendly Chemist, the blackmailer. Have your suppliers contact me here so I can work something out with them. Do not tell them that I owe you money. That is not true and will only complicate matters. Tell them the truth. The person who stole your money sold their product on my site, and that you are now blackmailing me to get them their money. You should copy-paste this message to them. And then he reaches out to Loosey Drop once again. Thank you for your understanding. Please encrypt the information with the key below and send it to me here. And there's a PGP public key block, numbers and letters and shit.
Then Real Loosey Drop sends the address and info back with the encryption. Hate to even ask this, but any job openings? I've always been loyal to you and believe in the movement. I was #1 vendor with the #1 selling product, so I'm very familiar with how things work. I'm just in a bad spot after my partner fucked me and could use any sort of income while I get back on my feet.
Please send the exact address of FC. I might be able to take you in as a part-time mod. I'll run it by the staff. And then 3 days pass.
That's not a problem. I'll go out there in a couple days and get the exact address for you. Did he consult the staff about the part-time job?
Not yet. Is he still in contact with you? After this conversation, Ross, Dread Pirate Roberts, is contacted by a user called Red and White. This moniker indicates that this user is affiliated with the Hells Angels.
I was asked to contact you. We are the people Friendly Chemist owes money to. He tells us that you owe him money in a long, boring story about some of this and some of that. As far as we're concerned, we gave him the product. Where it went and how does not matter. We hold him and him only responsible for the missing product/money. We don't care if you stole it from him, borrowed it from him, or anything. It's his responsibility to pay for it. He asked me to contact you anyways. What did you want to talk to us about?
Sorry for the delayed response, and thank you for getting in touch. We had some technical difficulties the past 24 hours I've had to deal with. Just to be clear, I do not owe him any money, and he has told me his situation wants my help. I'm not entirely sure what the best action to take is, but I wanted to be in communication with you to see if we could come to a conclusion that works for everyone. Friendly Chemist aside, we should talk about how we can do business. Obviously, you have access to illicit substances in quantity and are having issues with bad distributors. If you don't already sell here on Silk Road, I'd like you to consider becoming a vendor. Many people here purchase in bulk as well as retail quantities. Being a vendor, you'll have the protection that dealing anonymously in Bitcoin provides, and you'll have the protection against people like Friendly Chemists ripping you off because all transactions are conducted through my escrow. I encourage you to read the wiki and forum, links in folder, and consider becoming a vendor here. So if there's anything I can do as admin to help you get involved in the Silk Road, or anything I can do to help with your situation with Friendly Chemists, please just let me know. So on 3/26/2013, so this has been going on at this point for about a week? 2 weeks?
Yeah, right about.
So Red and White, the Hells Angel, messages Dread Pirate Roberts.
That is interesting. How much is it possible to sell on here if we listed every product far cheaper than everyone else? We have a majority hold over most of the movement product in Western Canada, one of the main drug ports to North America. And I've researched your site, and the concept seems interesting to me as long as it is anonymous, as everyone makes it out to be. You produce LSD, N-Bohm, ketamine, MDMA, meth, GHB, and import cocaine and heroin in massive bulk amounts. We have a lot of workers who run their own sub-distribution networks for the street, but if it is lucrative, we're always looking to expand. In my partner's eyes, all they will see is that because of online dealing, we are out 700,000, so I'm not sure they'll go for it. Friendly Chemist refuses to meet up with us because of what he fears will happen. People are starting to suspect he'll go to the police, which is not a problem, because he'd never be able to give up anyone of importance since he only has ever had contact with low-level people in our group. And they always take precautions so that even if someone were to turn informant, they would not be able to get any charges to stick. It's a shame because he moved a fair amount of product. If you can get Friendly Chemist to meet up with us or pay us with his debt, and I'm sure I'd be able to get people in our group to give this online side of the business a try. As it stands right now, there are people looking for him, and since he has avoided our group, I'm not sure what'll happen since he owes us money and is avoiding us. I've looked around your site. The prices are absolutely absurd. I'm assuming most of the people on here selling are 3 or 4 tiers below the actual producers and distributors.
With this, Dread Pirate Roberts now contacts Real Loosey Drop to check in on the address. So remember, Real Loosey Drop is getting the address of Friendly Chemist so that they can intimidate him with violence so that Friendly Chemist doesn't release all of this sensitive information. So Dread Pirate Roberts reaches out to Real Loosey Drop on 3/27/2013. Why haven't you gotten the address yet? Bring me the address and $1,000 in Bitcoin is yours. $790,000 today. And then within a couple hours, Dread Pirate Roberts reaches back out to the Hell's Angel, Red and White. In my eyes, Friendly Chemist is a liability, and I wouldn't mind if he was executed, but then you'd be out of your $700,000. I don't think he's going to come up with the money because he seems very desperate. I'm not sure how much you already know about the guy, but I have the following info, and I'm waiting to get his address. Blake Krokoff lives in an apartment near White Rock Beach. Age 34. City, White Rock. Province, British Columbia. Wife, 3 kids. Let me know if it would be helpful to have his full address. In those categories, I think you could be doing over $1 million in sales a week within the first few months. It is hard to estimate because it depends on how much market share you get, and also the site as a whole is constantly growing. You will need to become very proficient at stealth shipping and packaging if you aren't already. Think vacuum sealers and leaving no forensic evidence on your packages. You will also want to ship from multiple drop points so they can't be traced via your fake return address. If you go through with this, I would contact some of the top vendors and hire them to consult you. Ask the weed vendors because you won't be competing with them and their product is smelly and looked for by USPS, so they have to be on top of their game. I would also start out listing smaller amounts so you can get the hang of it before putting up a substantial inventory. You will also need to market yourself on the forums a little bit at first, maybe send out some samples to critics. That is the one price of anonymity. No one knows you, but if your customer service is good and your product is good and cheap, people will quickly catch on and you won't have to do much hustling. Regarding prices, there's some costs here you don't otherwise see. I take 3 to 10% depending on the size of the transaction. If you hedge your escrow balance, and you should, that cost can go up to 5% per transaction. And then you need to convert your Bitcoins to another currency. There are fees associated with that, though not much. There are also occasional losses due to packages lost in the mail. The rest of the markup, I think, is due, as you say, to the fact that most vendors are pretty far down the distribution chain. Regarding the safety and anonymity, we've been operating for over 2 years now in the open as a high-profile target and are still going strong. If you take the necessary precautions and use the technology, I think you can operate very securely and efficiently here, maybe more so than some of your current operations.
I already have that information, but thank you. 1 million a week sounds like it'd be worth selling on here, once we know exactly how everything works. Even if commission was 15%, it would not matter, as we lose more than 15% doing it on the streets with street-level guys getting robbed or arrested and losing product, etc. Also, we've kidnapped Friendly Chemist's partner, Shin, already, and are on the hunt for Friendly Chemist. I'll keep you updated on the developments. So far, though, we're liking what we see with this site, and this could be a good partnership for both of us. As far as I can see, the site lacks any big-time suppliers. It appears it is mostly street-level independents that are buying small amounts, an ounce to a kilo at a time, and selling on here. We have the product and the manpower to do big things here. Forgive me, but it all seems a little too good to be true right now, so I'll need some time to really research this before I make any sort of commitments.
Has a Hell's Angel ever said forgive me?
Right? This sounds like a very high society Hell's Angel.
And then Dread Pirate Roberts replies, I understand, and that is great news about Shin. If I understand your situation, he is the one responsible for your loss. You should definitely take your time and start slowly. I would hate for you to make a mistake and be left with a bad experience. Just let me know if you need anything. Also, you should look into PGP. Many customers like to encrypt their receiving address, so you should know how to decrypt it. When you are ready, let me know what account you want to sell with, and I will cover the $500 security deposit for you.
We're all familiar with PGP, as we've been using it for years via email linked to our smartphones. It's the only way we communicate with each other aside from in person, since phone calls are not secure. There is no loss anymore, also. We were able to recover all our missing products when we grabbed Shin. After some questioning, he admitted that he was intending on moving to a different country and setting up a new seller account on this site. We don't take too kindly to thieves. He's gone. I appreciate your offer to waive the fee, but if we were to sell on here, I would like to pay the same as everyone else. Very kind of you, though. I'll be in touch.
So the next day, Ross is messaged once again by the blackmailer Friendly Chemist.
You leave me no choice. I want 500,000 USD within 72 hours, or I'm going to post all the info I have. I can't go back to my home, and I've had to move my kids and wife somewhere, and I need the money so I can move my family and start a new life. I hate to do this, but I need the money, or I'm going to release it all. Over 5,000 user details and about 24 vendor identities. What's it going to be?
Don't do anything foolish. The people that you owe money to have caught up with Shin and reclaimed their losses. I spoke with them and calmed them down. They are likely going to become vendors here on the Silk Road. Now, you can calm down too. Go back to your normal life and don't get involved with this stuff anymore.
You don't think I know what they did to Shin? You think I can just go on with my life? You don't know these people. I owed them money and I ran away from them. It's over for me. I need that money to start over somewhere else with my family. I need it. I don't want to do this, but if you don't give it to me, I have no choice. They're still telling me that I have to meet them, and I know what will happen. I can't let that happen. Even if they say it is okay, I know they will do the same thing to me. They say everything is okay, but I know what they will do. 63 hours. Please, don't force me to post everything. 500K is nothing to you, but it's life and death for me. They told me that I have a free pass and that they dealt with it with Shin, but I know that they are doing that to make me think it's okay and then get me. That's how these people operate.
Do me a favor, make it 96 hours. I'll get back to you on Monday. I want to work this out, but I have big plans for this weekend and I don't want to have to deal with this. Shortly thereafter, Ross messages our Hell's Angel, Red and White. Hi again, R&W. I hate to come to you with a problem when we are just starting to get to know one another, but Blake, Friendly Chemist, is causing me problems. Are you still looking for him, or now that you've found Shin, have you given up? I would like to put a bounty on his head, and if it's not too much trouble with you, what would be the adequate amount to motivate you to find him? Necessities like this happen from time to time for a person in my position. I have others I can turn to, but it's always good to have options, and you are close to the case right now. Hopefully this is something that you're open to and can be another aspect of our business relationship. Regards, DPR.
What's the problem? We usually tend to stay away from hits as they are bad for business and bring a lot of heat. Is it a problem that can be resolved or does it need to be dealt with sternly? As of right now, we don't care about him because we retrieved more from Shin than what he took from us. And he also paid for it with his life. Debt paid in our books. As far as rates go, we don't have a flat rate for things like that. It's on a case-by-case basis. Usually, we pay our hitters a percentage of what the person owes, plus or minus how much they can retrieve. If it's strictly a hit because they don't want the person around anymore, it's also different. Does he owe you money, or do you just not want him around anymore? I can send a couple of my guys to do recon, find out exactly where he is right now in the meantime, until I hear back from you.
Dread Pirate Roberts responds, if you can find his location, that may be enough for me to scare him off. He's trying to blackmail me. Just let me know what you need to make this worth your while.
If I find his location and you use it against him to scare him, there's a chance he'll switch locations again. Speaking from experience, it'll become a lot more difficult to find him again after that once he knows there are people capable of finding him, looking for him. Further, the people we use to do the recon are the hitter themselves. I don't think they'll be interested in continuing looking for him if there will be a small sum to be split between them just to find his address. If you have your mind set on just finding his location, I can talk to him and get them to get it for you for a fee. Not sure what amount is usually when we hunt someone, there's more involved after we find him. If you want to deal with him the other way, we can talk about that too, but price varies on the situation. If you want it to look like an accident, it would cost a lot more. Wouldn't be suspicious. He would just leave home one day and never return. If you don't care what it looks like, it would be cheaper than the accident. We use professionals and not street-level hoodlums who always end up fucking things up. How much does he owe you, and how much are you willing to pay? If there are funds retrieved, how much would we keep from what he has when we get him, if he has anything?
He doesn't owe me anything, but he is threatening to expose the identities of thousands of my clients that he was able to acquire working with Shin if I don't pay him off. As you don't take kindly to thieves, this kind of behavior is unforgivable for me, especially here on the Silk Road. Anonymity is sacrosanct. It doesn't have to be clean, and I don't think that there are any funds to be retrieved.
Price for clean, $300,000. Price for non-clean is $150,000 to $200,000, depending on how you want it done. These prices pay for 2 professional hitters, including their travel expenses and work they put in. We can use out-of-town hitters if you want as well, but I wouldn't suggest them because they come with an extra cost, and you don't seem to care how he's taken care of. When would you like this done?
I don't want to be a pain here, but that price seems high. Not long ago, I had a clean hit done for $80,000. Are the prices you quoted the best you can do? I would like this done ASAP, as he is talking about releasing the info on Monday.
I'm sorry, but we can't do anything for that price. Best I can do is $150, and even that is pushing it. Since you need a rush job done, usually we'd charge even more. In the interest of business relationships to be, I could do $150, but no lower. $150 does not work for you. We're going to have to pass. We use professionals, and we pay them a good price. Always send them out in a team of 2, $75,000 each for expenses, and the job is a fair amount, I think. We have one of his associates, and we're paying him to set him up for us. We'll pay for that ourselves on our end. I'm guessing you will not be able to pay by cash, so how would payment work since you need it done before Monday? If you want it done by Monday, that only leaves today. It's Sunday morning here. We always seem to miss each other online, so I'll leave a Bitcoin address in case you want to pay that way. Probably best so we can get used to dealing with Bitcoin anyways, since we'll be selling here more than likely in the next week or 2. I'll check the computer in about 10 hours, and if I see that you do want to go ahead with this and payment has been sent, we'll do it today. And then he inserts a Bitcoin wallet address. If you want picture confirmation on the job afterwards, give me random numbers and I'll have him write them beside him and take a picture for you.
Thank you, RNW. I've only ever commissioned one other hit, and I'm still learning this market. I have no problem putting my faith in you, and I'm sure you will do a good job. The exchange rate is above 90 right now, so at $90 per Bitcoin, 150K, it's about 1,670 Bitcoin. If the market tanks the next few days, I'll send more. Here are some random numbers for the picture. 837-46102. Here's a transaction for 1,670 Bitcoin. And then there's a transaction number. Good luck and be safe. DPR.
I received payment. Appreciate the offer of Bitcoin lower in value. We know where he is. He'll be grabbed tonight. I'll update you.
And then the next day, Red and White reaches back out to Dread Pirate Roberts. It is now April 1st, 2013.
Your problem's been taken care of. They seized a bunch of stuff he had with him at the time as well. They said he had a couple laptops and a bunch of USB sticks. Is there anything of that belongs to you? They questioned him and he spilled everything he knew. He said that he and Shin were actually working together on this scheme to blackmail you, that they were brought in by a third guy who's been selling on here for a couple years, who's a scam artist. Apparently, he makes selling accounts, sells for a while, then pulls a big scam, and he just keeps creating new accounts after he does his scams. They got that guy's name also. I'll give that to you free of charge when I meet them to get the picture and computer hardware they got. Rest easy, though, because he won't be blackmailing anyone again. Ever.
Excellent work. Please send any info you can to this third party along with the picture. The picture can be uploaded here, and there's an address. I have no need for any of his possessions, so you can do what you want with that stuff. Thank you again for your assistance. DPR.
Okay, my guys are here now, and here's the information they extracted from Friendly Chemist before the deed. They were working with a guy, real name of Andrew Loosey of Surrey. Apparently, this is the guy that turned him on to frauding people on here. He said that he started selling on Silk Road a couple years ago. Since then, he's made a career of making new seller profiles to sell and then rip people off. He told them how to start on here and how to rip people off and asking for percentage in return. He said that he showed them everything about how to sell and how to pull it off and all that stuff. He didn't remember all the account names he uses or used, but said that Tony76 and Nipplesuck Canuck were two of his names, and that he has other seller accounts for people set up or is running himself. Nipplesuck Canuck is an excellent account.
I want to steal that. I'm not Canadian, but God, that's good.
It's just a knockout. Also, we know that all these characters are Canadian. Please don't give us grief for doing Southern accents. I can't hold on to a Canadian accent for this long.
I can't either.
I also went and looked at all the possessions they seized from him. The laptops were empty besides Tor and a couple other programs. USD sticks he had were packed full of text files, thousands of addresses from all over the world. We destroyed everything we seized from him, but I kept a text file that was named blackmail.txt that had a ton of addresses in it like the other text files, since he mentioned that he was trying to blackmail you with that information. I kept that text file in case he needed it. If you don't need it, let me know and I'll destroy it. I also have the picture with me. A question before I send it to you. I'm not extremely good with all this anonymity computer operations, but I know that pictures store GPS information and the likes that police can use in evidence. Is it safe to send over here like that? We took care of him at one of our safe houses, so that worries me a little. I trust your judgment, so I was wondering if there was a way to delete that GPS information from a picture before I send it over the internet. Another quick question regarding Bitcoins. How do we withdraw them? Paid the hitters with my own money until I figure out how Bitcoin works exactly. As I understand it, Mt. Gax is the main exchange. Is it safe to make an account there to withdraw? Can they link it back to Silk Road? They require verification, which bothers me a little, so I figured you'd know the best way.
Yes, you can destroy the info. Thanks for taking a look first. Regarding the image metadata, you can strip all that out, and it is a good practice. The upload page is secure, but I would still have access to that metadata. Of course, you can trust me, but what if I was compromised? Do a search of remove image metadata. A decent one for Windows can be found here, and it's a link. Regarding Bitcoin withdrawal, I would avoid Mt. Gax if at all possible, especially if you're withdrawing to a USA account. There's so many other exchanges that don't have so much attention on them, and you can find a list here. I'm reluctant to give you a specific recommendation, but look for ones offshore on that list that will do an international wire transfer for a direct Bitcoin payment. Tony76 and Nipplesuck Canuck were both blights on an otherwise great track record. What do you think about going after Andrew Loosey? Guy has probably ripped off millions of dollars at this point from me and the rest of the Silk Road community. Just so we're keeping everybody up with our story. Dread Pirate Roberts, after receiving confirmation that this hit was successful, is asking for another hit.
It's going on a murder contract shopping spree.
Yeah, and so 2 days pass, and Ross messages Red and White again. He's been left on Red, and he's getting antsy. Are you sure the name isn't Andrew Lowry or some other variant? I can't find a surname anywhere of Loosey. And do you have any other info at all on this person?
I've sent the file. Had to make sure I did the information removal properly before I sent it so that It didn't send the GPS information with the picture in case it was intercepted somehow. Please delete the picture as soon as you take a look at it. As for the name, it's Andrew Losry, aka Tony76, aka Nipple-Suck Canuck, aka some other names I don't know. From what I got from the friendly chemist, he has other names on here as well, or is working with other vendors on here, like I mentioned before. As for your question about going after him, I would need to do some asking around to see what kind of information my guys can get on him. Would you like me to look into it?
Yes, please. If you can find him, I would like to know.
Did you get the picture? Let me know so I can delete the rest of the ones I have. Finding him would be possible, I can almost guarantee it, but I stop short of guaranteeing anything unless I'm 100% certain I can get the job done. I do that so I don't look like an idiot if I can't accomplish something I've said I can. We have a huge stake in the trafficking on this side of the country, so if he's grabbing product from anyone, he'd be able to find out who and get to him. Would you want him dealt with if possible? I ask because I don't want to send people to hunt for him and then nothing come of it once they find him. Please don't forget to delete that picture.
I received the picture and deleted it. Thank you again for your swift action. I would like to go after Andrew, though it is important to me to make sure he is who Blake said he is. I would rather miss the chance to take him out than hit an innocent person. If he is our man, then he likely has substantial assets to be recovered. Perhaps we can hold him and question him? Maybe? I'd like to connect with you in real-time chat to discuss this with you further. I have a secure system set up that we can connect through. It requires downloading the chat client Pigeon and the plugin Off the Record and some basic configuration to connect. If you're open to the idea, I'll send you the instructions. This is how I communicate with my closest people. If not, we can keep it here, but it is much slower.
It was my pleasure. I hate thieves almost as much as I hate informants. About holding and questioning someone, it adds the risk somewhat the longer we have a target/transport a target. The safest way is to get in, do it, get out as soon as possible. Are there any way to verify he is the intended target? Making him speak would not be a problem, of course. We would not have him done in if he was not the right person we were looking for. Since he said he'd like to go after him, I'll send 2 of my guys to go do some recon right now and find out what I can about him and get back to you immediately. We can discuss price later once we know more. As for the time chat, send the information over and I'll have my tech guy look at it. He handles all my security with phones and PGP Blackberries, so he'd probably know better than me how to set everything up.
My gut tells me that he's our man, but I would hate to be wrong. Your men were able to get info from Blake. Maybe they can do the same with Andrew. He's likely sitting on many thousands of stolen bitcoins, perhaps tens of thousands. So I would think we'd want to work him over to get those funds back. They could be on an encrypted drive only he could unlock. Taking him out would erase those coins forever. In the process of getting him to return those funds, I hope we can confirm that he is indeed the one Blake says he is. Here are the instructions for accessing the chat server from a Windows computer. Redacted instructions.
Got all the information correct, but when I try to connect, it's stuck on connecting. I have the correct port that Tor is listening on. Also, I found out who Andrew is exactly and who he was picking up his supply from. I talked to his supplier and he said he mainly grabbed heroin, coke, MDMA, and LSD. Said he always goes through phases where he grabs a ton of product, then stops for a couple weeks, and then starts again. Sounds consistent with what Friendly Chemist said about how they run the stealing from the buyers on here. Said last he heard from Andrew a couple days ago, he said he was planning on moving out of the province because things were too hot down here. That might be because he has found out about Shin and Friendly Chemist and is now scared. I also had a chance to actually sit down and talk to my hitters about what exactly happened and how everything went down in detail. They said Friendly Chemist was pleading with him and offering to give up Andrew, and that Andrew was a seller here by the name of Tony and a bunch of other names, Nipple-Suck Canuck amongst others. He said that when he first turned them on to the idea of doing the big scheme, that he would often talk about how he stole so much money and that he once stole 15,000 online currency coins from one person on this site and how easy stealing money was on here. Does that ring a bell? Did he steal 15,000 bitcoins from a buyer here? That would be an easy way to find out if this Andrew person is the same person you think it is. Do you have his transaction history to see if he did actually steal 15,000 bitcoins from someone? I trust my hitters to do a good job. They're excellent at what they do, which is take people out or interrogate or scare people. They told me they didn't think he was lying. The info I have on him right now is that he works and lives with 3 other people and they all sell product together. They're planning on leaving the province soon, I don't know when, and he's in contact with his supplier who actually through a line of middlemen gets his product from us at the end of the food chain. Do you want to deal with this Andrew guy, or do you want me to put the team on standby?
I'm confident enough that it is him to move forward. Can we round up all four of them, separate them, and then get them to out each other and give up their stolen money? Recovering the funds is going to be tricky if you aren't in direct contact with your team or if your team doesn't know how bitcoins work. If you have the other usernames FC mentioned, that will help me piece together things on my end. Regarding chat, there should be a certification you have to accept when it connects. Does that show up?
It won't even connect. It's just stuck on connecting. Copy and paste all the information for the login, password, and etc. So it should be good. I also checked Tor to see what port to use. Won't connect for some reason. Do I have to fill in any more of the details, local alias, or anything like that? As for getting all four, would be possible, but they would have to get them all at once so that one does not get away. I would send 4 hitters instead of 2 to make sure there was no fuck ups. Not sure when they are planning on leaving the province, though. The guy that has been feeding me information on him says the guy is a degenerate gambler, so I don't know how much funds he'll have on hand. He says he owes a ton of people money, too. My guess is that he's pulling these scams to fuel the gambling problem like a degenerate. It would make sense why he's also teaching other people how to scam as well when it's been so profitable for him to keep to himself. Probably because he owes them money and offers to show them how to do it. It's a way of paying them back. I'll have them take whatever they have on hand, but I don't want my hitters to be hanging around with them for too long since they're doing 4 people. Unfortunately, there are no bulk discounts for jobs like this. Usually the price goes up the more difficult it is. Since you're easy to work with, I'd be able to offer you the same rate as last time times 4. If that works for you, let me know. If it doesn't, please also let me know as soon as you can so I can call my guys off. They've been doing info gathering this whole time on Andrew and his crew.
Okay, let's just hit Andrew and leave it at that. Try to recover the funds, but if not, then not. How much do you need for this? I'm not sure what the problem could be with chat. Please upload some screenshots of the settings you are using and the main pigeon window.
If you want to hit Andrew only, I can have it done for 150 just like last time. Wouldn't be able to do it at their place though because there are always at least a few of them there from what I'm told since it's their home/office. So we wouldn't be able to recover any of his things. It's up to you what you want to be done, but we can't send hitters into their house or office if they're only doing one of them. Do you not need the people he's working with dealt with also? They're all working with him. This means they're doing the same thing as him. It'd be a lot easier for the hitters to go get them if they're so that they have a chance of recovering anything he has, if he has anything there. It would also be better because it wouldn't be a public hit. If we just take Andrew, there's nothing to say that the other 3 won't start up somewhere else with new selling IDs. It is, of course, up to you what you want done and how, since you are the client. I was pretty certain you'd want them all taken care of, so I had associates send me a couple of his out-of-town hitters to accompany our local hitters. It's not a problem as I can just send them back and cover their travel expenses, but I obviously would like them to not go back empty-handed. My mistake for not confirming what you wanted before I had the extra hitters sent down. It's not really a problem if you don't want the others dealt with. I had a hard time connecting to Silk Road for the last 24 hours or so, or I would have asked before having them sent down. So if you'd like to do the others as well, I'd be able to have it done for 500,000 USD. If you do not want all of them and just Andrew, it would be 150K, but I would prefer to do all 4. It'd just be better than having to get Andrew somewhere else and have no chance of recovering any potential product money he may have. Anything recovered would be split 50-50 with you. If you're certain he has that much product money, I think it would make sense to do it at their home or office. It's up to you, though. Just let me know what to do as soon as you can, since I do not know when they are leaving the province. And if they do leave the province, the price will go up exponentially. If you would like just Andrew done, send 150,000 USD to the same address he sent the other funds to. If you'd like all 4 of them done and the product money recovered from there, send 500,000 USD to the same address he sent the other funds to. As for Pigeon, my tech guy is not here to do picture GPS scrubbing, so I'll just send the screenshots of Pigeon as soon as he is able to stop by. I'll write down the settings in the meantime, and here's some instructions for the chat thingy. Not sure why it's not working. It's just stuck on connecting every time I try and connect. Latest version of Tor, Pigeon, OTR. The morning I'll check Bitcoin wallet first thing, and I'll know what you want me to do based on how much you sent. I'll have it done ASAP. Speak to you soon.
I see your problem. You need port 9150, not 9151. 9151 is the control port, 9150 is the SOX port. Okay. I'll defer to your better judgment and hope that we can recover some assets from them. 500K in Bitcoin, 300,000 at $166 per Bitcoin will be sent to transaction number.
He's finally able to connect, but it seems you were offline. I'll have him go take care of that thing ASAP. I'll update you as soon as I hear more.
Glad to hear you could connect. I'm connected quite a bit, so keep trying and I'm sure we'll cross paths.
Hey there. Still haven't been able to catch you on Pigeon. I added you as a buddy, but you don't show up in my buddies list. When adding a buddy, I leave everything blank and just put the username as Dread, correct? Our hitters have been watching their house, and we have a 1 week window to do it, but I wanted to ask you a couple questions before giving them the green light. Price of Bitcoin is trading at 61 US dollars right now. How is this going to work? Because you mentioned that you would take care of the price fluctuations. We haven't withdrawn any of the Bitcoins. Could you also give me some insight on the price on this price business? I've been rallying our people to get involved with selling on here, and they seem very interested, but they're saying we would lose money because of the price going up and down so much and not being able to withdraw fast enough to not lose money.
Check out this link, and it's a link. Pay special attention to the part about escrow hedging. I don't think this place would be possible without it, at least not in the form it's in now. Regarding the 3,000 coins I sent, get the best price you can for them and let me know if you are short, and I will send more to cover it. Regarding chat, I made a mistake. You should add me as another username. I'm going to try to connect us manually, so that might not be necessary.
That problem was dealt with. I'll try to catch you online to give you details. Just wanted to let you know right away so you have one less thing to worry about.
Thanks. See you on the chat. And then 2 days pass.
Hey, tried to catch you online, but no luck. Want to link up the same time tomorrow?
Sure. I'll make sure I am online at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. I assume 30 minutes pass, and then Dread reaches out again. It's nearly 4 p.m. Pacific time. I need to run some errands. I'll probably be back on later, though.
Sorry I wasn't able to make it on. I've had some problems I've been dealing with. Came online today to see if I could catch you, but no luck. I'll wait online until 6 p.m. I'll give you a brief rundown here just to let you know what happened. My crew did their job. As far as money, product, Bitcoin, seller accounts, they had 15,000 Canadian dollars on site. For product, they had a fourth kilo of cocaine and 2 ounces of heroin. Bitcoin, they've been giving a third party Bitcoins who cashes them out for them. The guy has roughly 350 Bitcoins of theirs currently owing to them. The exchange guy is not in on their scam, and it's just some exchanger who sends them funds via Western Union. They've been using him from the start, apparently. I don't know what to do about that. Seller accounts, they were in the process of setting up another account to sell heroin and cocaine. They said a few of their friends know about this, so be on the lookout if anyone from Canada starts to sell heroin and cocaine. I also took a big loss. After you sent me the extra coins to cover the price going down when it was at 90, it started to crash again. It's at 65, and people were talking about how it's going to go down even more, so I made a deal with an exchanger to take them all at 50 and sell them for me in case it went down even lower. Of course, after I made that deal, it has now started to rebound again, but I'm out 250K. I'm not telling you this because I think you should cover it. In fact, I don't want you to cover it. You already did more than you needed to do when you covered the price crash in the first time. I'm just letting you know because this will cause a delay in us starting here because I was planning on covering the men's wages of $1,000 a day of street money to start selling on here until it gets busy enough for them to be paid via a percentage of what they sell here. It was my mistake for not arranging someone to take the entire Bitcoin amount as soon as I had received it instead of letting it sit and have the price crash. Hope to catch you online soon as I've started on that reading material. I love what I'm reading so far. Talk soon.
Okay, I'll look for you as well, but probably won't be online for the whole day again until Tuesday.
The cast of this story is Ross Ulbricht, Friendly Chemist, Shin, Real Loosey Drop, Red and White, and a few Hells Angels, Enforcers, and Hitmen. All the evidence we have suggests quite strongly that the account Red and White was owned by James Ellingson, who also owned and operated every other username aside from Dread Pirate Roberts, which belongs to Ross. If we're playing our fun game, where James conned Ross Ulbricht out of his money and proceeded to hold the stolen Bitcoin until today, James Ellingson would be sitting on $333 million in Bitcoin.
Before you go on applauding James Ellingson's incredible gambit here, it's important to remember just how foolish his mark was. Ross asked Red and White, someone he had never met, someone whose full name he did not know, to kill someone for him after interacting with him for just 4 days.
Yeah, and the whole time he was interacting with all of these people, they were all constantly asking him for money.
Looking at the text, it was so obviously a scam.
Absolutely.
So obviously a scam.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does this guy know how these things work? I don't know how these things work, but this is all playing like a bad movie.
This all looks dumb. The only other hit Ross had ordered ever was on Curtis Green. Green had been captured by the DEA, and when Ross learned of this fact, he rightly feared that Green would flip, as he did. As such, Ross put out a hit on Green. Green's head was worth $80,000 to Ross. The $80,000 was ultimately taken by Eladio Guzman, a cartel man based in the Dominican Republic, username Knob, who was secretly Carl Force of the DEA. He had successfully flipped Green and was building a case against the Dread Pirate Roberts and Ross Ulbricht that would put the two, Ross and the pirate, behind bars for the rest of their lives. The hits that Ross Ulbricht ordered from Red and White a week after meeting him online would feature heavily in the court case that would lead to his double life sentence. The judge would repeatedly thank God that Ross was too inept to ever find a real hitman, and we did too.
In the end, Ross, our humble boy from Austin, Texas, was outed as a monster. As the result of several ignored warnings about security risks, the DEA was able to turn Ross's masterpiece into a transcript detailing Ross conspiring to murder half a dozen people. He lost a fortune before you could ever really enjoy it, and put himself behind bars for the rest of his life. For his part, James Ellingson, 5 of the people that Ross had conspired to murder, was arrested in late 2018 and accused of violating U.S. narcotics trafficking laws. He was apparently able to use the Silk Road to make $2 million beyond what Ulbricht paid him for all of those murders, and last year a trial began in the States that could put Ellingson away for the rest of his life as well.
It's hard to remind yourself that, oh yeah, everyone else in this story is an asshole.
I think that the Silk Road is a great illustration of what happens when we make things taboo and we push them into their own little microcosms. Other bad things get involved, you know?
True.
And maybe that's just me being like a little too pro-drug. I don't know. I'm not pro-drug. That's a joke. Maybe. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. We included a link in our sources, which is just the script that we read.
Yep, the actual transcript where we started just reading the back and forth all came from arstechnica.com. We'll include that source directly in the episode description. The rest of the sources will be on a source page that, you can click into as usual. A fun update, we have a YouTube channel now. Like, comment, subscribe on there or on here or wherever. And check out our subreddit or shoot us an email if we got something wrong or if you have a request. We love you and we'll talk to you soon. And,
Goodbye.